The meaning of Fatal Fury is...
It's whoa!
Exactly! It is absolutely a guttural scream from a dying man.
So, in the beginning, there was the TurboGrafx 16 CD-ROM, featuring an amazing 64 kilobytes of RAM. You'll know from the games we played, including Last Alert and Addams Family, that load times are long and frequent, and that's because it has only 64K of RAM to deal with. Then came the Super System Card 3.0, which added 8 times the RAM for a total of 256 kilobytes. That alone was the difference between the Addams Family and Dracula X. That's when you could start making good games on the thing. But that wasn't enough. At one point, NEC decided, you know what, 256 kilobytes? It ain't cutting it anymore. What if we had a card that was 2 megabytes?
That's too many bytes!
That's the arcade card. This thing was announced in 1994, and it was essentially the TurboGrafx's 32X. Only it didn't add extra processing power or extra graphics chips, just more RAM. And honestly, not that much. But still, that was enough. Let me show you the back of one of these arcade card games. This should just give you an idea of just how fragmented the PC Engine market was at this time. You'll notice that the screenshots for the game takes up maybe 10% of the back cover. You can see them if you squint. But beneath that is all the different hardware configurations you had to consider when buying your arcade card. So there were 2 models. There was the Arcade Card Duo, which is the one we're using because we got a TurboDuo. This retailed for 12,800 yen, and it was compatible with the PC Engine Duo, Duo R, the LD-ROM expansion for the Pioneer Laser Active, as well as units that were attached to the Super CD-ROM drive, including the original PC Engine, CoreGrafx 2, SuperGrafx, and PC Engine LT with its required adapter. Now, if you had a system that was connected to the original CD-ROM drive, the 1.0 version, you needed a little bit of extra power, so they had a card just for you. That was the Arcade Card Pro, and that cost 17,800 yen. An extra punishment, if you will.
Woo!
That card was for System 1.0 CD-ROMs that were attached to the PC Engine, CoreGrafx, CoreGrafx 2, SuperGrafx, but you needed an adapter in that case. Make sure you had the adapter. And PC Engine LT, but for that one, you didn't need the adapter with the Super CD card. You did need it with the Duo card, but not the other one. Anyway, that's what all that text says on the back, and that's way more important than the game, because if you tried to run these games without the proper card, it just wouldn't run. So, consider your system that you already bought for the equivalent of $200 in Japan, plus a $400 CD-ROM, plus another couple $100 for the supercharged Arcade Card Duo card. Is it worth it? Let's find out. This thing launched on March 12th, 1994. You could go to your local Japanese convenience store, or electronics store if you prefer, and pick up a copy of Fatal Fury 2 for the arcade card. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to run through the entire software library for the arcade card CD-ROM. Alex, kick me to a gameplay screen. Let's kick it. Special thanks to Fatal Fury 2 for providing the hype music I needed during that segment. Much appreciated. Let's go ahead and start this from the beginning. So the first thing you'll notice is the arcade card boot up menu. It's identical to the System 3.0 menu, including the fact that it says version 3.0. I don't know what the deal is with that, but they obviously cut some corners here. And what this means, in terms of launch, is how they promoted it. It was basically play Neo Geo games, new Neo Geo games, on your TurboGrafx 16, or PC Engine. That was the promise. Let's see if they delivered.
I got a question. Are we going to show off games without the arcade card boot up as well?
Most of them aren't really that interesting, honestly, but a couple of them do have pretty funny error screens, so I might show those off in the second half.
Yeah, folks talking about we got folks talking about the Saturn expansions as well.
Oh yeah, that was similar to what the Sega Saturn later did with its 1 meg and later 4 meg carts. Alright, so this first game here, Fatal Fury 2, or Garo Densetsu 2, was developed in collaboration with SNK, the big men themselves. NEC was all like, put your game on our system, we want to sell this. And SNK said, sure, boss. And this is what happened. So at this point in 94, Fatal Fury 2 had been out for a while. It came out early 93, and in fact, an expansion, Fatal Fury Special, was in December 93. So in fact, this version was kind of old news at this point, but still. They had to have something that came with that cartridge.
Okay, so that's Humphrey there, and,
Yeah, Humphrey versus My Sharona. Conquer the world.
You know, Humphrey Bogart and My Sharona really did conquer the world.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of loading time here.
Is this music normal?
This is chip music. It's not using CD audio right now.
Does it just sound really weird to me?
It sounds a little weird. I believe they call this breakbeats.
Does this sound like algorithmically generated music?
Look, it's a new frontier in electronic music. Get used to it, Grandpa.
Okay, the music sounded normal to everyone else. It may have just been my, what you call it.
And here we go, Fatal Fury 2 running on an actual, real PC Engine. And it looks pretty close to the Neo Geo version. The obvious difference is those black bars underneath the life bars up there.
Oh yeah.
That was a little concession they had to make.
This looks pretty... This is TurboGrafx!
Yeah!
Damn.
Yeah! This is the TurboGrafx with 2 whole megabytes of RAM. They could have all these giant characters with a ton of animation frames, with no compromise. And it plays pretty well, too. I mean, I'm no Fatal Fury expert.
Look at this.
I did play a lot of the original Fatal Fury in arcades. That's just because Andy Bogard could really cheese his way through most of the game. But Terry's pretty cool, too.
Terry's alright.
One thing I don't like about this is the default controls, because what it does is it maps the weak punch and weak kick to select and start, and that's not something you're going to want to use. Luckily, the real meaty punches and kicks, those are mapped to 1 and 2, so it's not too bad.
Hey, honey, she's kicking your ass.
She kinda is, yeah.
Yeah, well...
Oh, I got boobed to death.
Annie!
You saw it, that's what happened.
It's only like 11 minutes into the episode, and I've already got to issue an apology.
She's the one attacking chest first, alright?
I just gotta say, that's not legit. That's gonna be much more painful for her.
Iron bra.
Okay. I never thought of that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why she's giving me trouble. I picked easy.
Well, maybe she's just better than you.
That input reading. That's bullshit. I'm just bad at the game. But yeah, if you're familiar with the original, you may be able to spot the differences between the different versions, but for most people back in the day, this was still preferable to buying a Neo Geo system. Losing in the first fight. That's
Yeah, this is some Alex strats. Good
That is
job.
the saddest shit. Yeah, no compromise on graphics or difficulty, apparently. Now, this also came out on Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, and those versions had pretty obvious downgrades compared to this. Anyone in chat familiar with the Neo Geo version? Can you tell me what, like, jumps out at you as being different? I'm gonna pick a different character here.
Let's see here. Kunten mentions that the voice samples are really good sounding, which is true. It does actually sound pretty good.
Yeah, that's maybe the most shocking part, because Genesis especially, when you were converting to that, you really had to degrade the digitized sample quality. But here, even a big character like Big Bear is there in all his big glory.
Like, obviously, the black bars, as Pigler mentions, are the big difference, but I guess the shadows and the scaling and a few other things are different. I personally cannot tell because I don't know shit about fighting games. Bless y'all who are real good at that. I like to watch people play fighting games. If you put one in front of me, I will lose.
Okay, when you drain Mai's health halfway, she just gets to be super, super proficient at fighting, and she does not want to lose. Great start to the stream. But if you brought this home, day one, Would you be impressed?
Honestly, yes.
I think I'd be pretty impressed. I'd be like, yeah, I made the right choice.
This is pretty... Damn. Well, now she's gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, now I've unlocked...
I've
unlocked my infinite.
You've released the inner my.
There we go.
Hey, you won.
Bear's cool. He does a lot of damage. Number 1.
Yeah, Jampolian says Danny wasn't prepared for 2 megabytes of enemy AI. That's exactly where all the bits and bytes are going.
That's true.
Into making mine kick your ass. They just, you know how it goes. They just got into their little coding program and put
activate ass kick algorithm.
Exactly.
What are Bear's moves? He's just a big lug, this guy.
New Game King saying we haven't learned the meaning of Fatal Fury. The meaning of Fatal Fury is...
It's whoa!
Exactly! It is absolutely a guttural scream from a dying man.
No,
I guess he's not dying. Cool Coyote. I guess Danny does need a fursuit to be better at playing games.
Ah, that's true. I gotta start training in my fursuit, like Sonic Fox.
It's gonna be so... God, in the Texas summer?
Mm-hmm.
Can you at least just, like, wear the head, or are you gonna do, like, the full suit?
Full suit.
No, Danny!
Hey, I want to conquer the world here, alright?
You're gonna get the world's most massive case of swamp ass!
That's what I'll be known for.
You'll be known as Swamp Ass Danny, and then you'll always win because they'll see, like, the dripping, horrible sweat from your suit, and they'll be like, no, thank you!
No need to graphically describe my swampy ass, alright? We're here to talk about NEC, not ass. Yeah! See, Bear's great because his jump kick reaches like halfway across the screen. I think he's my new favorite character.
He's good. He's like... he looks like Jesse Ventura meets, Big Van Vader.
Oh, he is very, Vader-like, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
I like his grunts.
It's good, they're good grunts.
Oh, his standing kick advances him forward, too. That's cool.
Alright, you wanna move on after this fight?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm just glad I won a match. That's the first match I've ever won in this game. I practiced this before. It went just as badly as you saw just now.
You know... Okay, Dark Tetsuya, that's actually a question I've got too. How does... Okay, chat, does Sonic Fox have, like, the gloves on, like the fursuit gloves on when he plays? Because how do you do the fucking inputs with those, in those things? Because
He uses a controller, too, which is the fucked part. He doesn't even use a joystick.
What?
Guy's a legend.
Like, does he, okay, so he doesn't play in those gloves? Thank you, God. Okay. That's a relief.
Big Bear wins.
Big Bear
That's
wins.
Fatal Fury 2. So there you are, early March 94, with your brand new arcade card. You're waiting for a new game.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna wait 2 weeks, exactly 2 weeks, and then on March 26th, NEC releases Ryuko no Ken, aka Art of Fighting. This will be the true test of the arcade card, because if you know Art of Fighting, you'll know one thing about it. Huge characters, just gigantic, massive, filling the screen.
Is Art of Fighting and Fatal Fury in the same universe?
I don't think so, though they do cross over for King of Fighters. Is Southtown in the same universe as this game's, whatever the town is here? Some fan can answer that, I'm sure.
Yes, it is in the... I'm seeing from Batman, thank you, that it is in the same universe. Thank you. I'm so happy.
Well, now I know.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, this one they actually added some narration for the intro.
Oh, this looks great.
Break him. Yeah, he broke him. It's the Ryuko no Ken. Everyone's favorite. Actually, not many people like the original Art of Fighting.
Whose favorite is this?
Art of Fighting was technically impressive at the time just because of the sheer size and animation of the characters. Gameplay-wise, it hasn't really held up quite as well. This one, though, you can actually change the language to English, so that's nice. And as you already saw in the intro, the characters are a little smaller than the original Neo Geo version, but they kind of didn't have a choice.
Okay, according to Electric Boogaloo, Art of Fighting is a prequel to Fatal Fury because it takes place in the 1980s.
Oh.
So it's the,
Oh, this also gets a unique loading screen.
I like this loading screen.
So this port is developed by Alpha System, who previously made Noriko, Fighting Street, and SuperGrafx Daimakemura. The thing about all these games you're going to see, they all come from different developers. Each of the 12 games for the arcade card were developed by a different developer, even when they're from the same publisher.
He is here.
Ask for it with your power.
Round 1.
Now check that out. Did you see what happened just then? The game changes
What?
It changes its resolution on the fly. Luckily not in a way that freaks out our Elgato, thank God.
This is...
But yeah, it
What
does
the
that.
fuck is this?
The original Neo Geo, what it would do is it had scaling sprites, and in order to replicate that here, it just changes the resolution, which is kind of a really odd way to do it, but it works.
This is really weird.
Yeah, I've never seen this approach done by any other game.
Round 2. Fight.
Yeah, the Neo Geo did not handle it like that. That's...
I was warned beforehand that this game did a resolution change, and there was concern that it might be unplayable because of that, but luckily, it doesn't screw with the Elgato.
This is so weird.
Yeah. Here's the thing I don't like about this game, the spirit meter under your life meter. If you run out, you can't do special moves anymore. You gotta taunt the other guy.
Oh, I guess taunting raises your, emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Lashing out at others makes you feel better.
Exactly. That's exactly what they were thinking. I mean, sure, there's a downgrade in the size of the character sprites, and there's a black bar at the top of the screen, as you come to expect now. But still, most of the core of the experience is here, and that's what's important. Which is to say, it still plays not great, because it's Art of Fighting. Oh, I perfected him. Oh. Wasn't BBH trying to do like a high score run on this at one point? I'm pretty sure that was a thing. He had to get a whole bunch of perfects. Oh, now we get to see my favorite character, Jack.
Yuri. Team 2. Max Bar.
It has the Neo Geo in-house announcer, too.
I love this.
That guy's in a whole bunch of games. His name is Michael Beard. Who's that Pokemon?
It's Chansey.
Chansey. So you're Jack, aka Chansey.
Round 1. Fight.
I'm so sorry, but all I can think of when looking at this is not normal. This is not a normal way to handle this sprite scaling.
Yeah, I gotta say, it's a novel approach. I can see why most other games didn't attempt it, but it still works pretty well for what it is. Oh yeah, your fireball just whiffs if you have no energy.
Jay-Z from chat mentions it's not doing hardware resolution changes. It appears to be some sort of software scaling of the background, which I'm surprised the TGCD can handle. Same.
Yeah, weird. There's nothing like that I've seen in any other PC Engine game.
Do you think that's the power of the arcade card, or what?
No idea. I don't think the arcade card had any additional hardware or anything. It was just RAM. So they had to come up with some kind of special technique. Oh, right, the taunting doesn't get you energy back. It drains your opponent's energy.
Mm-hmm. What you have to do is hold down an attack button to regen the energy, according to BBH.
I see. Look at that. Oh, we're both doing Dragon Ball Z. That's cool.
Come on, charge your Spirit Bomb.
Oh.
And get kicked in the face.
Yeah.
Remember when Goku charged his Spirit Bomb and then, like, Vegeta
kicked
just
the dude in the face?
And
Yeah.
he's like, ow, my face! I'm Goku! You can't kick me in the face!
The most important part from Art of Fighting is still here, and that is the big that plays whenever a big hit lands. Like
That's
just
good.
then. Oh, also, the inputs don't work all the time because it's Art of Fighting. Oh, he jumped! Jumping's cheap. Alright, so what's the consensus here? Now, there's a very obvious graphical downgrade here compared to Fatal Fury, but the core of the experience is still there. Your Neo Geo owning friends will probably still make fun of you. Listen, we never hurt women or children. Thanks, Jack. What a tough guy.
Hey Dan, you gotta improve your skills.
Oh, okay.
Alright, you should get one more fight in before you move on, probably.
Yeah, bonus game.
Bonus game.
Alright, should we break the bottles, break the ice, or do some Haokens?
Howkens, huh? Let's cut some bottles.
I want to do the bottle break,
Yeah.
How do you do this? I think you mash buttons. Am I wrong? Or maybe it's a timing thing. Oh yeah, it is timing. Oh my god, no! I hate beer! One frame earlier and I would have been maximum power. Instead, I was at no power. That was awesome. Alright, who's that Pokemon? That looks like Mr. Mime.
He just knocked them all over.
Yeah, he just slapped them all off the bar.
He was like, eh.
Get that Bud Light shit out of here.
Smeb says, sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave this TGI Fridays. This is a good game. And yeah, Magmaram, it's Pidgey.
Oh yeah, Pidgey.
Or Jared Leto Joker item merch, yes!
Ooh, yeah.
Yes! He's gonna have damaged on his head and beautiful, like, they're gonna, like, zoom in on his head and it's gonna say damage and, like, beautiful sprite work.
Now that would be a great hidden character.
Oh, man.
That's who we all want to play as.
Let's hack Jared Leto Joker into a bunch of old games.
Round.
Instead of doing, like, those offensive ROM hacks, let's just put in Jared Leto Joker, because it's still pretty offensive.
That's
but...
more offensive to me. I'd rather have Nazi Dr. Mario.
Danny, no, don't say that, because...
Oh yeah, we can't say things we can't take back.
Because then you're gonna see it, and then that's gonna be, like, the only ROM that doesn't get DMCA'd online.
Oh,
And
look
you're
at Rio's
just
face, he's
screwed.
all fucked up. That was another cool thing about this game, your face would take damage. Alright, I think that covers it. Yeah, that's Art of Fighting, and that is the March lineup, the March launch lineup for the Arcade Card Pro. I can barely believe it. I'm beside myself. Alright, so if you were waiting for a new game for your arcade card, you'd have to wait quite a while, because this game came out March 26, 94. The next game came out on June 4th. So a couple months later, you'd have to wait for your next game. And that was World Heroes 2. Is one of the default names 420? Oh, that's 42D.
Danny!
I got excited for a second. So completing the triumvirate of Neo Geo games available on Arcade Card Pro. ADK's World Heroes 2. Now, like Fatal Fury 2, this game was later upgraded. This became World Heroes 2 Jet, and then later World Heroes Perfect. This is the unupgraded vanilla version here. Alright, we got some ADK heads out there, right? Some people who just love ADK.
There's gotta be.
It must. The law of averages.
The 80k heads must exist.
So y'all need to tell me just how downgraded this version is. It's supposed to be pretty good, though. I mean, look at these characters. They got Mudman, they got a football player,
I like the football guy.
they got a pirate captain. World Heroes is pretty good.
World Heroes 2.
World Heroes 2.
Let's see, Freon Leon says best 80k game was Twinkle Star Sprites. Don't disagree. And Ragu says, I'm an aggressor of Dark Combat.
Me too. Me too. Alright, so I said all these games were from different developers. This one was by Agenda, who made Riot Zone on the Turbo CD, as well as Spider-Man Lethal Foes on the Super Famicom, which we covered a few weeks back. That was that Japan-exclusive Spider-Man game that wasn't very good.
Alright.
So high hopes for this.
Got a few people asking you to play as J-Max to see how downgraded this is.
Is that the football guy?
I think so.
Alright. Yeah. Profession, quarterback.
Alright, I want to play around. No? I'll just watch them.
You can play as
J-Max?
J-Max.
Okay.
I want to get 2-player up and running on the TurboDuo at one point, but it requires a very specific adapter that I don't have.
Normal game.
Yeah, no one has to die here. So J-Max, is he like the biggest guy?
I think so. He looks pretty big.
He'd probably be pretty big. You know, it's about time they put a football player in a fighting game.
I just think it's an unfair advantage to have all this armor on.
Yeah, he has a helmet. Not to mention all the padding. Was that 99, like a counter?
I think so.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we're counting down the load time. Gotta say, load time it's noticeable, but it's a lot quicker than what we've seen on earlier TurboGrafx CD games. It's no Cosmic Fantasy 2, which I don't think we've shown on stream yet. Alright, so after 2 months of waiting for your next arcade card release, here it is.
Round 1. Fight.
Hut, hut, hut!
Wow. I am not good at this. Hey.
Oh, there you go. Oh, this looks pretty good. This is pretty speedy. It doesn't look like they skimped on the speed or the animation or anything, really.
Food truck.
If I were to guess, the backgrounds are probably a downgrade. They look pretty simple.
I'm the guy in the background in the leather hat and vest.
I'm the guy holding up the football, saying football.
That's me too. I am... Oh, hey! I was looking at another screen. You're not allowed to hit me when I do that. It's the millennial law.
BBH says the background is less animated. Yeah, I would have expected that. But the stuff that matters, they actually paid attention to, which is nice. Even when it came to Art of Fighting, they did what they could to really get the gameplay across.
Alright, I was informed to lose a round, so I'm gonna lose the next one.
When he held up the football, it came from nowhere. He could just summon a football.
Well. Hey, don't beat me up. I'm on your team. Oh, ow.
Oh yeah, is this guy from Football Frenzy on Neo Geo?
Alright, I lost.
He kicked your ass.
Cool.
Well, if you were expecting him to say something funny in English, sorry.
There you go.
Alex handed the controller back. Let me be... I want to be the pirate.
Let's give it a minute.
Yeah, hang on, it's thinking. It's doing things it's not designed to do. Muscle power. Changed my mind. I want to be muscle power.
Are they just an old wrestler called Muscle Power?
Uh-huh. And we're gonna do a death match.
Oh, Jesus, Danny, don't die. Also, you've had multiple people ask you to pick Rasputin.
Ah, damn it. Sorry. I'll do that next round.
He's so old, I love him.
Back in my day, we wrestled for 10 hours at a time. Nobody wanted to watch that. Just me and Terry Funk. Alright, it started at 50 that time, which makes me think that it already had JMax loaded into memory.
I think so.
This thing's pretty good at caching, from what I've heard. Like the upgraded Neo Geo CD. And if you feel the physical card itself, it's noticeably heavier than other Hue cards. It's like there's a rock inside it. Yeah, here we
Wow,
go.
and he's fucking buff, too. This guy is ripped.
Now, the fun part about death matches is... Oh, there's no shit at the side of the screen. Usually there's like spikes or something. And it uses an odd sort of tug-of-war life meter.
Oh, I love this life meter.
Oh. Muscle power is cool. Oh, he's freaking out.
Nice.
Knockout. Number one. Back in my day, we had 2 counts. Yeah, they hadn't invented the number 3 yet. Look at him. His tongue sticking out.
All this guy's doing is lecturing. I love him. Alright,
Maybe Muscle Power is the best character.
maybe.
Yeah, so I like this. I haven't played much of World Heroes 2, but it feels good, this port. It's definitely fast, and it keeps the core of the gameplay, or what I remember from it. But what you've seen so far is 75% of the Neo Geo releases for this thing. They wouldn't release another one until way later, and it's definitely not the game you would expect if you're expecting another fighting game. But we'll get to that in due time. For now, I think you'd be pretty happy with your arcade card purchase. These are like top-tier Neo Geo games at this point, and they're pretty good ports.
That was pretty cool. Good job, Danny.
Yeah, thanks.
Was she like pulling your beard off?
She was trying to break Hulk Hogan's neck there.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, that was cool. Maybe this is my favorite game on this thing so far.
Maybe.
Because it's not kicking my ass right away. Alright, there you go. There's the initial Neo Geo lineup. So after this, it's now 3 months into this thing's release, and we've had 3 games. Well, it turns out you'd have to wait a little bit longer for the next game, because whereas World Heroes 2 came out in June, the next game came out on September 15th, 94. It's called Mad Stalker Full Metal Force. This is one of them mecha games. You like the mecha?
Yeah, they're cool.
Now, Mad Stalker, excellent name for a mech game. And the TurboGrafx had plenty of mech games. You want to play this one too?
Sure. I want to see what a mech game is like.
Yeah.
Extremely mad and nude stalker. Nice.
Now, while Mad Stalker is an excellent name, there were many other mech games for the PC Engine that had terrible names. This game has some long load times, so once we get to one of those, I'll list those off. Oh yeah, here we go. Alright, the third worst name for a mech game on the PC Engine is a game by the name of Genocide.
Wow! No!
Second only to its sequel, Genocide 2, G2. The sequel.
God, that's... Genocide 2 is some venture capitalist shit.
It is. Oh, I shouldn't talk over this. This is the arcade card intro.
軍部の決定に口を挟むなどこちらの調査では100体以上の存在を確認したと報告されているのです。しかし民間に供与されたものはわずか4体に過ぎない。
Nothing's happening. Okay, the second worst name for a mech game on the PC Engine. Vague's Tactical Gladiator. Vague's. It's a little bit too vague for me.
I was gonna say, I can't really get a handle on what that means.
And the worst name for a PC Engine mech game, according to my research, is Browning. Like the color, Browning.
I don't like that. That reminds me of like...
That's like an accident you have in your shorts or something.
Jesus, yeah, but it is, though. It is.
Browning. So compared to those, Mad Stalker is a pretty good name. Oh, is there a rifle named Browning? That would make more sense.
Okay.
I only know the color.
This guy's like, ah, cool, long intro, I love it.
He's already getting impatient with it. Look at that finger animation. Only on arcade card.
本社の機密を脅かしている現実も忘れないでいただきたい。詭弁ですな、市長。我が社の重要機密が外部に漏れた実例はかつてなく。
Yeah, when y'all gonna fix my nose?
国家レベルの機密であればこそ、私は軍部の意見を尊重するのです。
It's made of
機密保持能力の低い民間に技術が
Alright, Battlefork with some good info. The PC Engine also has a game called Alzadick, but it's not a mech game.
Alzadick is a pretty good name.
Alzadick is amazing.
What about Grand Zort? Is that a mech game?
That one's good too.
What am I talking about? All these names are great.
This guy's got a lot to say.
This is a mech game, I promise.
I believe you.
私どもの立場から情報を公開した場合、記者と軍部との関係が取り沙汰されましょう。ご公説はその時に改めて伺わせていただきます。失礼。小賢しく嗅ぎ回りおって。
Yeah, maybe I accidentally bought a sitting in one spot game instead.
わしだ。
これは社長。
例の戦艦の件で市政府が動いている。そちらの
Pretty misleading giving a sitting game the title Mad Stalker.
Well, you don't know. Again, I do not know Japanese, so for all I know, he could be like coordinating an attack in someone's mentions.
That could be.
これまで以上に厳重にな。中央制御による無人
Min, it seems we have an issue. Someone said a bad thing about a first-party Sony game. Defense Force, assemble! We will fight the Nintendites at dawn. We'll show them that Spider-Man is better than Mario. Puddles or no puddles.
This sucks. I hate this fucking game.
She's all like, oh, I can't believe he's talking about the puddles again.
Let me be.
妙ですね。わずか4体とはいえ、今回の民間供与からいずれ技術流出が起きることは避けられません。
Someone seems to have posted a profane image of a pig with feces on its genitalia to you.
Let's move on. Alex hit their start button. This isn't going anywhere. This is a common thing you see in PC Engine games, really, really long animated intros. And thanks to the arcade card, they could be bigger and longer than ever before.
Well, now we got time to wait.
Yeah, look at this load time here. So what it did is it loaded the intro, and now it's loading out the intro, and it's loading in the actual game.
Alright, so we got some time here.
Anyone know of any other mech games for PC Engine? It's hard to beat G2, Genocide 2.
That's profane.
It is. Maybe there was a law in Japan. You just had to give your mech game a ridiculous name.
Keith Courage. That's a good one.
Oh, Keith Courage, yeah. There we go.
I'm awake now. Alright.
Alright, Alex, go to town.
I'm just gonna start up. I'm not even gonna look at options.
So this was by Kogato Studio.
Chico Rodriguez.
Richard Winston. Eve Lurdia. I like how it lists the blood type before the actual useful information.
I'm gonna go with old Chico here.
A ripe old 31 years of age.
It's closest to my age.
Yeah, so Kogato Studio, you may not know them, but in Japan they were known for the Power Dolls and Schwarzschild series, which were long-running series of mech and strategy games for Japanese computers. You can probably skip this too. As much as I love talking. Oh, here we go. Now this is a game.
Oh, I'm big. Look at me.
Look at this. You're huge.
Okay, up is jump.
Yeah, you're a mech, and it kind of controls like a 2D fighting game because up jumps, and you got all these command moves, I believe. Oh, you got that cool sweep kick too.
Why are these tiny mechs trying to hurt me?
That just grabbed onto you.
This is like a fighting game, you're right.
It's even got the whiff noises from like Street Fighter 2. They really wanted to make a fighting game here.
This is very fighting game ass.
Dominic White says Power Dolls is BattleTech, but operation scale. Yeah, from what I saw, those games seem really in-depth, and they made a ton of sequels. I like that you get to beat up on the little robots. You're like a big robot bully.
I am.
Oh, you shot him! Yeah, I think if you do a fireball motion, you do, you shoot. Oh!
Hey, this is fun.
Yeah, this looks like it kicks ass.
This, so far, I will put this on the tentative kicks ass list. This currently is whipping the llama's ass very nicely.
Yeah, I did play a little of this, and I enjoyed it. It is pretty fun.
Oh, you got me to play a good game, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I'd make up for the thousands of bad games I made you play. Oh, can you double jump? I like that your attacks hit multiple enemies, too.
It sucks. It's really fun. You have so many more games to go through, but I'm...
So yeah, here you go. That's what the arcade card can do outside of Neo Geo fighting games. That's right, it can do other games and other genres. Now I joke, but the Genocide series is actually supposed to be pretty good, despite the name. I don't know how this stacks up, but it does seem pretty in line with those contemporary mech games. And more than anything, it's fast and fluid. It just feels good to play. Get the health. There you go.
Time is slowly ticking down. Hey, don't kill Alex. He's
Oh, you're dizzy. How can a mech get dizzy?
It's drunk.
You think those are the big brothers of those little robots you just killed?
Oh my god, right, they're pissed.
They're like, hey, pick on someone your own size.
I'm like, okay.
They take a lot of damage.
I'll take a lot of damage in this game. That's my only complaint so far. Bye.
Zoom. Back to fighting the little guys. I guess at this point, single-plane brawlers weren't really in style anymore, even though the TurboGrafx was kind of built on that kind of thing. I'm thinking of stuff like China Warrior, Vigilante. So it had a presence on this system, but it didn't last for long. Until the very end of the system's life when this game came out. Good combo.
Oh, thank you. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm having a good time not knowing what the hell I'm doing. Which is a good sign.
You're beating up the bots. That's all you need to know. Okay, so back into the history, since you're having fun. So, this game came out September 15th, 1994. By now, you'd probably be expecting to wait a couple months for the next game, right? Well, the next game came out the week after, on September 22nd, and it's a doozy. It is Strider Hear You.
Oh, I bet that's good.
Yeah, well, let's find out.
Okay, well I'm about to die soon anyway, so...
Now Strider, one of my favorite arcade games, it got a pretty good Genesis port, and for a really long time, there had been rumors that they were working on a SuperGrafx version, which is a separate upgraded PC Engine that's entirely different from the arcade card, believe it or not. That never came to pass, though there were a couple of Capcom games released for that thing, including Ghouls and Ghosts. Oh, you died.
Well, I died.
Thank you. So suffice to say, by this point, PC Engine fans had been waiting for a Strider port. And this is what they got. This was developed by DICE, not that DICE, creators of Vegas Stakes and Othello World. Just the people you wanting to making a port of Arcade Strider.
Oh.
People who make Othello games. That's okay, it's just a port, right? I mean, if they have their chops together, they can put together a solid version of it.
You can rock down too. An EC Avenue. I make that joke every time and it never gets funnier.
The guy who wrote that is going to demand royalties from us.
That's fine.
And of course, it has an exclusive animated intro.
自らをグランドマスターと名乗り全世界を軍事力によって支配しようとする闇の支配者の影があった。
Alright, gotta watch out for the space warlocks. The missile warlocks.
Vegas Stakes is an NES and Super NES game. They did the Super Nintendo one, even though it was published by HAL.
Raytheon warlocks.
That was pretty cool looking.
Oh, I guess there's no sound for this part.
Yeah, it's dramatic.
Okay.
So
All right.
I'd been dying to play this, and when I first got my hands on an arcade card, this was the first game I played. We'll leave it up to you to determine how good of a port this is. Extra Stage is an interesting option. Let's go ahead and turn that to on, because I think we'll be able to get to it. Yep, this game adds an exclusive Extra Stage that's not in any other port. So technically, this should be the superior version of Strider. Throw your Genesis in the garbage, folks.
Finally.
Strider has come home in style.
My 32X is also in the garbage.
Good. It should already be there anyways. And it looks like this.
He just... Oh, this is appearing on your end too. That's cool.
Yeah, there's a ton of flicker. The colors are very muted. And even now you can tell that it's way off in terms of feel. This feels nothing like Strider. It has a very loose feel to it. He doesn't jump as far. The level design is different because they couldn't replicate the original levels. You still got those little bots. That's something. But suffice to say, while this looks a little bit like Strider, it doesn't feel much like it. Oh, look at that tiny power-up.
Oh wow, Danny.
Yeah. And there's weird stuff too, like being able to attack while you climb up and down. It feels inconsistent. But hey, on the plus side, in-game cutscenes.
Hey.
Always wanted to know what that guy was thinking. Now I know.
What was he thinking?
He's thinking, oh, I'm dead.
Well, he's dead now.
It's like that in the original version, too. He dies in like 3 seconds, but they felt the need to give him some voiced lines here.
Hold on.
And yeah, there's mid-level load times, too. The Genesis one did that, too, but they were very brief, and they didn't really affect the gameplay or anything. Why are the bullets so small and so slow? Look at that bullet go.
Aww. Just thinking.
It can go off on its own.
This little bullet can make it on its own. I believe in you, buddy.
I want a game about that bullet.
Just going on adventures. Bully, the fun-loving bullet. Brought to you by your local gun lobby.
So the Genesis version of this came out 5 years before this. An entire 5 years. By this point, the arcade game was 6 years old. And it looked like this. This is what they did. I'm sure NEC and Capcom had a very different idea of what this game should look like than what, whatever Othello World's developer's name was. Oh, Agenda. They had a different agenda, you might say. This is a pretty janky-ass Strider. Yeah, but now you get to know what the bosses are thinking.
And what was he thinking?
He was thinking, I'm gonna kill you, Strider. There. I was pretty mad when I played this for the first time. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be arcade perfect. I knew this thing had limitations, but just for it to look and play like that, I would have been okay if they got the play right, but it just does not play anything like Arcade Strider. Oh, Strider 2 is pretty good. It's pretty different from the first game, but it's better than this. Oh, here we go. This is the extra stage. This is not an Arcade Strider or in any other port.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah, Strider's got 3D technology now.
Cool. Strider's got VR?
Mm-hmm.
Strider on the Internet of Things?
Yeah. And here it is, the exclusive desert stage in all its glory.
Wow.
I gotta say, the limited color palette they used, it works for this stage. Not for any other stage, but this stage, it at least doesn't look as terrible as the others. And I've seen other people in chat say, hut, 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 which, yeah, that's the name of this game. Come on, Strider, hike the ball already.
Yeah, Death Ruler in chat said, hey, what's Strider's favorite pizza chain? Pizza Hut, 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 hut. Hey, it's Norman Schwarzkopf.
Ah, Stormin' Norman himself. Was Stormin' Norman an anteater? I mean, an antlion? Not an
No,
anteater.
but Oliver North was.
He was an anteater, however.
Yes.
A disgusting anteater. Alright, so here's a unique boss encounter you don't see in any other version of Strider. It uses the popular Japanese antlion myth, which is in every fucking video game for some reason. Like, how many games have you played with an antlion that looks like this?
Is the creature that eats Boba Fett considered an antlion?
Oh, maybe. Maybe George Lucas was riffing on the antlion myth. It's called a sarlacc pit, Alex. I
I'm
think
sorry.
I think you knew that already, actually.
The embarrassing thing is, I did.
Yeah. You are a nerd.
That's true.
Otherwise, this looks a lot like the other stages. These characters are repeated. There's a couple of unique enemies and boss encounters, but yeah, you're not really missing out by not playing this stage. I guess we should at least see what the boss is. Hut, 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 hut.
Hey, when did Cannon Dancer come out?
Oh, good question. Was that 95 or 96, I think? That would have been pretty close to the release of this game, though. And God, if you'd played Cannon Dancer by this point, this port would have been just the most crushing disappointment.
Oh, this is bad.
That's a cool graphic there, at least. I'm trying to find the good in this game. Aside from my sickly yellow Strider.
It's 1996 that came out.
Oh, man. I'm gonna hut this guy. Can I just stand here? Is this a safe spot?
I think so. Is it killing him?
I don't know. Nope, don't do that. Maybe I have to hit the top gun. I was gonna call it a useless gun, but it apparently works. Oh, man. Alright, I gotta fight this guy normally.
Boo. Maybe we need to hit him when he jumps out of the tank.
Yeah, probably. Let's lure him out.
Oh,
Hey.
come on, dude.
Come out your tank!
Dude, come on!
Can he see me? Does he know I'm here?
Maybe you have to stand up.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm right here! I'm Strider in here!
I don't...
Dude, get out your tank!
Get out! Let us kill... There we go!
Fucking asshole.
Oh my god.
Let's try that again. Hut, 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 hut. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, one of the better changes they made to American Strider when they brought it to the arcades and Genesis is they changed the hut-hut noise to just be the sound of him swinging his sword.
Oh, thank god.
Yeah, otherwise what you hear constantly is hut, 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 hut. Alright, so I had the safe spot, I was just a little bit off. Is that it?
I think so.
That's the entire extra stage. Alright, there you go. Strider Hiryu solves the Gulf War.
Thanks, dude. Strider Hiryu does Iran-Contra. If you want to do that, he's a nice boy.
Ollie North was just a patsy. A fall guy.
People asking about the gorilla. Do we got time for the gorilla?
Gorilla should be next stage, so let's go ahead and see if the gorilla's in here.
Okay.
Yeah, here's the real sign of a good Strider port. Whether the gorilla is in his full majesty. That's Solo.
Oh. Like the Star Wars character.
No.
I'm sorry. Like the cup.
Yeah. Our best commentary to date. The arcade card is not picking up the slack. These are some long load times. Here we go. Oh, look at these colors. God.
This is sad.
The original arcade was this nice mixture of light blues and purples and pinks and stuff, and here it's just gray. Gray and brown. Like a video game from 2006.
Gaming in the Bush years.
Oh my god, okay, come on. Here we go. Okay, here comes the gorilla. There he is. He looks pretty good.
He looks okay.
He's pretty large. He's alright. I've seen worse gorillas. Oh, it's still weirding me out how you can just climb normally while swinging your sword. It shouldn't be like that. And there he goes. Bye, Robot Gorilla. I don't want to play any more of this.
Yeah, don't we have one more game to play before the intermission?
Yeah, let's get to that.
Okay.
This port makes me sick. I hate it. Just play the Genesis 1. It's so much better. Genesis 1 was 8 megs. This is a CD-ROM with 2 megabytes of RAM. 2 megabytes of RAM.
Well,
anyway, let's cleanse our minds of that. Next up is the next release. Shin Nihon Pro Wrestling 94 Battlefield. So this is one of 2 wrestling games for the arcade card. Leave it up to you to decide which one's better. So while Strider Hear You came out September 22nd, 94, this came out November 25th, 94, so it's another 2-month wait for another video game.
it was worth it. It was
Yeah,
worth it.
it had to have been.
Fujicom? Who's Fujicom?
Oh. I actually don't know, because I looked up the developer, and there's no developer listed. This is just the publisher, as far as I know. Now, this game here, this also came out on Super Famicom. It's part of the Tokan Retsuden series, which is the competitor to Fire Pro. There were a whole bunch of these games on Super Famicom and later PS1. I don't know if many ever came to the States, though.
I like that outfit.
Looks like he's in the Wrestle Circus. Oh yeah, tell me if you see any familiar faces here. Actually, we gotta get a move on
gotta
here.
hustle,
So let's go
yeah.
ahead and just see the character select screen. Now I know there's a couple characters here that you're familiar with, Alex. I'm gonna go over them.
Okay.
Let's do the Battlefield.
Oh, you could do the G1 Climax! Holy shit!
Mm-hmm. So we got a whole bunch of Shin Nihon Pro Wrestling figures here.
Justin Liger! Justin Liger! Cool.
Got Thunder Liger. We got the Great Muta.
Mm-hmm.
We got Tiger Mask.
Yes.
We got El Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
Wild Pegasus. What? Wild
Samson?
Oh, Wild Pegasus.
Pegasus. Oh, wow.
Power Warrior.
Okay, so we got the...
We got Power Warrior and Hawk Warrior.
Oh, hey!
We got your friend Scott Norton.
Mm-hmm.
We got Oh, everyone's gonna make fun of me for this. Hercules Hernandez. Yep, there you go. You got it. And of course we have Scott Steiner.
And Rick Steiner!
And Rick Steiner. Yep, it's got the Steiner brothers. And of course we're gonna be Scott Steiner.
Yes! Yes! Your chances of winning greatly go up.
Noted wrestler and mathematician Scott Steiner. You fat asses! I don't know wrestling, but I know Scott Steiner.
Alright. Hold on, I'm gonna share the math video.
And the referee. So yeah, 12 games for the arcade card CD-ROM, and Scott Steiner gets to be in one of them.
Thank God.
Unfortunately, this very much looks like a Super Famicom pro wrestling game, and that's because that's what it is. This is essentially the PC Engine trying to match up with the Super Famicom's power. And it did it, as far as I'm concerned. This does look like a Super Famicom game.
It does.
I like S. Steiner. Ow. Get off me. Yeah. Get him in that famous camel clutch.
I don't...
That's what Scott Steiner's known for. Can I taunt? Oh yeah, I can.
You just flex.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, maybe not what you were expecting after seeing all those Neo Geo ports with the giant sprites and tons of animation frames. But as far as I can tell, this isn't a terrible wrestling game. It's decently fast. It's button mashy as far as I can tell, but these controllers have turbo buttons, so I win. Of Quit trying to pin Scott Steiner. Let him choke you out.
Do the Steiner recliner.
Oh, okay.
Or the Frankensteiner.
There you
or,
go.
I have no idea how to do these moves, so... the developer, as best we could tell, it mentioned Fujicom.
Yeah, Fujicom, which I'm pretty sure is the publisher, not the developer. There was no developer listed for this game.
I'm checking Moby.
I don't even know if this game's on Moby Games. Still, don't get too disappointed just yet. There is another wrestling game, and that one is from Human, who you definitely know if you're a fan of wrestling games. Come to think of it, isn't there a new Fire Pro out? I think one just came to PS4. And the elbow drop, followed by an elbow drop, and then another elbow drop. Oh, here we go. That looks like a sex move.
Yeah, Shin Nihon Pro Wrestling 94 Battlefield in Tokyo Dome is on here. It says... Let's see here.
Yeah, what dev we got for this?
Fujicom.
I know!
Yes, that's a dev. They've done this game, a game called Card Angels, all one word, and Shin On-Ryu Senki.
Aw. I've never heard of any of those games.
Let's see. I think they're all... Yep, they're all TurboGrafx CD games. So they're all CD games for the TurboGrafx, and these are all the games they've made.
Damn, so they were in on that Turbo CD producing business. This game, as far as I can tell, though, is pretty unremarkable. It does the job, and it does have Scott Steiner, so it has that going for it at least.
It's got a lot of people in it.
I guess that is a pretty impressive roster for a 94 wrestling game. It's no WrestleMania the arcade game. It doesn't have Yokozuna or Doink.
Shit, slapping?
Yeah,
Someone's gotta.
that's called the Steiner Slap.
The Steiner slap, the Steiner lay down.
The Steiner get your ass beat.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Steiner get thrown out of the ring. I'm just letting him kick my ass at this point. Yeah, this is alright, but odds are better that you had a Super Famicom rather than a PC Engine plus adapter plus arcade card. That's kind of a lot of hardware to ask just to play this one game that also exists on the Super Famicom in a cartridge that probably costs $1 nowadays. Still, if you really want that CD music, this is your only option.
Yeah, Dr. Jordo, people have a lot of opinions about our WrestleMania video.
They sure do. We were cussed out by pretty much everyone for every reason.
Me
also,
mostly.
I was totally in the ring, and it counted me out.
One foot is out, baby.
Does that count?
It does now.
Is that really the rules?
I literally don't know.
Oh, man.